What's up, Blueroof Nation? It's your boy Jonathan, and welcome to Character Spotlight. Now, I was thinking about either sticking with the X-Men theme, or for some reason I was thinking Captain America. Maybe because I watched it today. You could check out my movie review of the first movie on BlueroofProductions.com. Yo, check it out. We're trying to get more into news in Blueroof Productions, try to branch out a little bit. So let me know what you guys think. You can comment over there. You can leave comments down below here. But for this episode, I was thinking, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And I came to it. It doesn't always have to be comic book characters, does it? Why? There's plenty of other stuff out there. And I thought, why not go with the favorite character of all? Well, she's not my favorite character of all. Spike is. But she's the star of the show. Buffy Ann Summers. Now, the one played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, not the one played by, was it Kristen Swanson? Whatever? No, not her. Buffy Ann Summers, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character. Because who doesn't love Buffy? Now, for those of you who don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a movie, and then a TV show, and now it is a comic book. So hey, I guess it is a comic book character, am I not wrong? Alright, basically Joss Whedon came up with this idea of, what if the blonde girl who always runs from the monster stopped and fought the monster instead? And with that idea, he came up with Buffy. He came up with the idea of the Slayer as a whole, but Buffy in particular. Now, a Slayer is one girl in all the world who is chosen to have the strength and power to fight the demons, in particularly vampires, hence Vampire Slayer. They were created by these people called the Shadow Men. Way back in the day. And one Slayer per generation is called. When she dies, another one is called. So, our generation Slayer was Buffy Ann Summers. This kind of airheaded valley girl from LA. And she was called by Destiny. And a watcher by the name of Merrick came and he trained her. He died while protecting her. She burnt down the school and moved to LA. Kind of the plot of the movie is what happened in the TV show universe as well, but just slightly different. You can actually read the comic book Buffy Origins, and it reads like a better version of the movie. But eventually she burns down high school, runs away to Vegas for a little bit, and then she goes home, and her mom moves her to Sunnydale. Well, her parents get divorced, and then she moves to Sunnydale. Now, it's always said that she wasn't the cause of the divorce, but it kind of has the feeling that all of the fighting was caused because of her, because she became kind of a troubled child. They even put her in an insane asylum for a while because she was espousing about, I'm a vampire slayer. Now, this is what I don't get. She says that they sent her to an insane asylum. Throughout the show proper, she leaves little hints. Leading up to the season finale, season 2, leaves little hints that she's a slayer. Says little things to her mom. Her mom never thinks anything of it. If her mom put her in an insane asylum before, why she not like, oh shit, maybe there's signs that my daughter's still crazy? Why not? Although there is the whole theory that the Buffyverse is all just Buffy's crazy illusions, as the episode normally again in season 6. I don't know why everyone loves that episode. I don't like it. I don't like the concept of everything that I've been liking and enjoying is ruined for me. I love the show Roseanne, but that's what bothers me about Roseanne, is that at the end, it's all just Roseanne's story, and none of the stuff that I've invested in is real. And it drives me crazy. Like, why? What the hell's wrong with you? I did not invest all my time and energy into this to see you be like, no, it's all fake. I mean, I get it, it's all fake, it's TV, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But I like feeling like those characters are real. Like, those characters have substance. And that was the point of Buffy, is that every episode had to have a substance. Every story was a metaphor for something going on in the characters' lives. That's why it has such a devout following, and so many people just love the show and the characters so much because of that. So Buffy moves to Sunnydale, and she very quickly hits it off with Cordelia Chase, the school queen bee, as it were. And she meets Xander and Willow, and they don't really hit it off, but she likes Willow, even though Willow's kind of nerdy, and everyone's like, ugh, look at Willow, ugh. But Buffy, you know, she becomes friends with her, and she kind of separates herself from Cordelia a little bit. And that's made even more so when she goes to the Bronze, which is the local club at the school. And Willow is just sitting there all bored, and Buffy tells her, like, go, have fun, enjoy. Let me backtrack a bit. Okay, so she meets Willow, Xander, and Jesse. And Cordelia comes up and tells her that there is a murder that happened at the school. Buffy sees the murder, sees that it's a vampire. Oh shit. Cordelia's kind of weirded out by the questions Buffy was asking, so she's kind of losing her cool girl status that she had gotten very early on in the series. She goes to the library, meets Giles, is weirded out. Oh shit, he's a watcher, I want nothing to do with this, because she doesn't. She wants to wash her hands from the whole thing. That's when she goes to the Bronze. She sees Willow there. She talks Willow into taking a more active part in her dating life and go talk to some guys. She meets a guy. They go out to have fun. Meanwhile, Jessie meets Darla. Julie Benz, I love her. She's so beautiful. Darla takes Jessie. Willow's new boy toy takes her to the cemetery of all places. Buffy realizes, oh shit, Willow's with a vampire. So she runs off to go save him. She meets up with Xander. Together they go off to go try and save Willow. On the way there, she attacks Cordelia, further destroying her any chance she has of being popular at this new school. They end up saving Willow. Xander, she meets Luke. All this stuff goes on. We learn about the Master a little bit. And then the next day, Buffy stops the Master, but not before Joyce is like, screw you, Buffy! You can't leave this house. I'm gonna be a good mother for once. She's a horrible, horrible mother. So over her, this is her sophomore year in high school. Over her sophomore year in high school, she kind of cements her inner circle of friends. She starts dating Angel, this mysterious guy who turns out to be a vampire. And she kills the Master. Well, first she dies. And that's a very important part. The Master kills her. Xander ends up giving her CPR and bringing her back from the dead. But as the Slayer myth goes, when one dies, another is called. So even being dead for a couple minutes is enough to summon the next Slayer. So Buffy is no longer the Slayer, but we don't know that yet. We learn that a couple months later. After the school year ends, she goes and stays with her dad for the summer. And she just can't deal with the fact that she dies. It really eats at her and starts to destroy her soul. So when she comes back, she's kind of a bitch to everybody, especially Xander. Xander and Angel, she's as horrible to. Eventually, you know, she mellows out a little bit, calms down, and things start going good. Too good. She ends up sleeping with Angel, losing her virginity on her 17th birthday, thus causing him to lose his soul, which causes all kinds of extra problems for them. Because two of Angel's family is in town. The woman that he drove insane and then turned into a vampire, Drusilla's in town, along with her boy toy, Spike. My favorite character. So now Buffy is fighting with 3/4 of the whirlwind. The fourth member, of course, Angel killed the previous season. That'd be Darla. So now Buffy's going through all this heartbreak of my boyfriend is an evil blood-sucking fiend. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, eventually, with the help of Spike of all people, she kills Angel. Well, Angelus, because when he's evil, he's Angelus. But she doesn't kill Angelus, she kills Angel. Right before she kills him, Willow performs a spell and gives him back his soul. Before the fight happens, though, Buffy finally breaks down and tells her mom what's going on. She tells her mom all about how she's the Slayer, all this stuff. She shows her proof. Her mom believes her, and her mom tells her to quit. She says, if you don't quit, never come back to this house. So Buffy kills Angel, hops on a bus to LA, doesn't go to stay with her dad, but lives on her own. She goes by the name of Anne, which is her middle name. And while there, she meets this girl, Lily. Now, Lily was on a previous episode, and she was part of this cult of people who worship vampires. This girl just bounces all around. Later on, she'll stay in LA using the name Anne. And she'll open up a rec center for kids and help them become, like, kind of like a, if you're a kid, you don't have anywhere to stay, you can go stay. Kind of like a rec center, but people can live there too. She's a really cool person. So Buffy, the Slayer, Sunnydale. Alright, so she finds out that Lily's boyfriend is missing. She finds out that he was sucked into this demon dimension where people are forced as slave labor till they're too old to work and then sent back out. And it's only a couple hours in our world. So Buffy goes into this demon world, saves a bunch of people, busts it all open and frees them all, and then decides, what the hell, I'm going home. Because after you go to hell, why the hell not go home, right? Home is always good. Except it's not. She's not welcomed by anybody when she gets home. They pretend to welcome her. They're like, oh, Buffy, we're so glad you're back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not a one of them care. Not a one of them. They're all jerks to her. Like, real messed up jerks. And it's like, well, what the hell? You know, you guys all supposedly missed her. You spent all this time looking for her. It's like she got kicked out of her own group. And it's hard for her, which is understandable. It would be hard for anybody, don't you think? So over the course of this year, it's her senior year in high school, Angel comes back from the dead. She starts dating this guy, but she doesn't have really time to date him. She meets another Slayer by the name of Faith, who's like this party girl and kind of stealing her friends and stealing her job, and she just feels overwhelmed, and she gets sucked into Faith's lifestyle. She starts being bad until Faith goes too far and murders a man by accident, but still, it's a line that Buffy can't cross, and Buffy just retreats. And she eventually gets back with Angel because, you know, this true love, they love each other, yada yada yada. And she tries to bring down the mayor and Faith. Meanwhile, Angel tells her, like, this relationship isn't good for us. We can never really truly be together, and all we're doing is hurting each other. So they break it off. Buffy nearly kills Angel then gets poisoned, and Buffy has to let him feed off a Slayer. So she tries to bring him Faith, but she can't do it. She stabs Faith, nearly kills Faith. Faith falls off a truck, falls into a coma. So Buffy lets Angel feed off of her. But she's still fine in time to fight the mayor at the big graduation ceremony the next day, or a couple days later. And she ends her career at high school the way I think most people would want to. She blows the whole high school up. So badass. Well, Angel is true to his word, and he just takes off. So Buffy's like, well, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? It's kind of a bittersweet moment, you know? So her and Willow end up going to Sunnydale Live. Sunnydale Live, that's my podcast. You can check it out. Hey. Now, Sunnydale University. And Oz is there as well. Xander comes back from his traveling around the world. And the gang is kind of back together, but it's not really. They start to go their own ways, which all groups of friends kind of do after high school. You know, Giles is out of a job. Willow's getting more into this witchcraft thing. Xander's doing his little bartender thing. Buffy doesn't really know where her place in the world is. And she gets beat the hell up by some vampire named Sunday, who's just like a nobody vampire, but beats the hell out of Buffy. It takes a while for Buffy to get her mojo back. While she's doing it, she starts dating this guy named Parker. He's a total ass. He sleeps with her and then forgets all about it, breaking Buffy's heart. And it kind of shows us that Buffy, while being this extraordinary, larger-than-life character, is just like the rest of us. She's just a girl in school who's trying to deal with life and not knowing really what her place is. She then meets another guy by the name of Riley. And this is when we learn about the Initiative, the government organization that hunts down demons and experiments on them. Because they don't kill them, they experiment on them. Buffy and Riley get into a relationship, and it's a healthy relationship for her. You know, it's good. She meets Spike comes back, and now he's a chip in his head, so they kind of force him to help him until he sells them all out. And by the end of the season, she kind of realizes that what always made her better than everybody else, stronger than everybody else, is her friends. And she combines with Willow, Xander, and Giles to kill Adam, this robot, demon, human hybrid creature that was created by Maggie Walsh in the Initiative. So the whole season is just them breaking apart until they come back together. Season 5 kicks off, and Buffy and Riley are happier than ever. Buffy now has a magical little sister who no one ever knew about. She's a key thing of light made with fake memories, so everyone thinks that she's Buffy's sister so that Buffy will protect her. Over the course of this season, though, Spike starts to fall in love with Buffy, and Riley kind of breaks away. And Buffy's never really given Riley that part of herself that she gave to Angel. She claims she did, but she didn't really. And she doesn't realize it until Riley gives her an ultimatum. But she doesn't make it in time, and he leaves. So, you know, she's kind of heartbroken, and everything's kind of crumbling around her. Spike's all in love with her. She hates Spike. And this goddess from another universe, another dimension, is coming to try to kill her little sister. So Buffy puts everything on the line to save her sister, even sacrificing her own life to save that of her little sister's. It's really sweet and romantic, you know? I mean, it's not romantic like that, but it's very sweet and epic the way it goes out, you know? Someone who's so willing to sacrifice everything to save the life of someone they love. It's really sweet. And that's kind of what that whole season was about, was Buffy going above and beyond to save her little sister. Well, her friends, thinking she's in some untold hell dimension, rip her out and bring her back to life. Unfortunately, she wasn't in a hell dimension, she was in heaven. She was in complete and total paradise, at peace for the first time in her life, and her friends ripped her out of it. She couldn't really tell them they ripped her out of it because they'd feel bad, and she didn't want her friends to feel bad. What kind of person wants their friends to feel bad, you know? Eventually they find out, and she turns to Spike as a way of dealing with her grief, because this is a very dark, demented year for Buffy. So she starts having sex with Spike to feel alive, to feel like her life has some meaning. Eventually she starts to come to grips with what happened, and she starts to settle back into her life. But it's not an easy task. It's not something that's boom, I'm better, you know? It's slow work. And even by the end of the season, she's still just barely starting to come to grips with everything. Her sister becomes a little klepto. Her friends have all kind of moved on, and it's just, ever since season 4, the Scooby Gang kind of like drifted further and further and further and further apart. And towards the end of season 6, the old relationships are kind of rebuilding themselves. Xander and Willow kind of rebuild their friendship. Buffy and Willow kind of rebuild their friendship. Buffy and Dawn repair their friendship. And Giles comes back and saves the day because he's Giles. So season 7, the gang, Willow comes back, and everyone's kind of like, how do we handle Willow? Because, you know, she went evil just a couple months prior, and Giles says she's better, but they're not really sure. And all of a sudden, all these new potentials are showing up at the house because the first evil's out to kill everybody. And Buffy's realizing, like, she has all this burden on her shoulders, all this work that she never thought, like, she went from being the leader of this small group to being the leader of an army. And she doesn't know how to handle it. It's too much for her. And she makes a mistake. Because everyone makes mistakes. Every leader makes mistakes. But all of her friends turn on her and they kick her out of the house. And whereas the previous year, oh yeah, Spike, just before the whole Willow big bad thing, Buffy called off having sex with Spike, and he tried to rape her. He realized what he did was wrong. I mean, there's no excuse for rape, even if you are a soulless vampire demon. And he hates himself for it and runs off, and he gets himself a soul. Buffy finds out that Spike's back, and she keeps it a secret from everybody. Eventually people find out, because people always find out about your secrets, and he kind of becomes a member of the team now that he's ensouled. He's like Angel, except better, because he earned his soul, whereas Angel's cursed with it. So when everyone kicks everyone out of the house, Spike is the only person who really stands up for Buffy, and you see that he really does love her. That their connection isn't just physical, it's not just attraction. There's something else really there. So Buffy then saves her friends because Faith led them into a trap. See? It's not just Buffy, Faith does it too. And she comes up with a plan. She has Willow give everyone who is a potential slayer the power to be a slayer. And she takes on the first. Spike sacrifices his life and saves the day. And for the first time ever, Buffy realizes, I'm not special. I'm just a girl, just like everybody else, and she's happy. It doesn't last long. Soon after that, her and Xander kind of set up this global Slayer network, and they base their operations out of Scotland. She ends up having an affair with a woman because, you know, why not? And it isn't long before we find out that she's fighting a villain known as Twilight, who is working with a Warren who didn't quite die, and Amy who's keeping him alive. She starts getting more and more powers and becoming more and more of a superhero than just like the normal Slayer. She can fly, she can do all this stuff, and it turns out there's a prophecy that her and Angel will consummate the relationship and destroy this universe and create a new one. And they start doing it, but she stops herself. Angel, possessed by the spirit, ends up killing Giles, and Buffy destroys the seed of magic, thus destroying all magic all over the world. So anything that's magic that's still there still has magic, but nothing else does. She then moves to San Francisco, and over the course of the next year, she tries to bring magic back. Well, Willow was really guiding that focus. Buffy kind of goes along and helps because it'll help her stop this old one who's the creature that gave birth to the first vampires. It's all real dark. She also ends up dating Spike again, which, yay! And I'm a little behind on season 10, so whenever I finish up season 10, maybe I'll give an update on this pod video thing, Bobby. But that's Buffy Ann Summers, the Slayer. It's a quick, abridged version of Buffy's life, but hey, that's the Slayer.